KX, I wanted to read you a story from our Greek myth book. I know my favorite way to tell you a Greek myth is to not use a book and draw the pictures on the whiteboard, if you remember. But for today, I thought it'd be fun to revisit one of our favorite books. And because it's springtime, it's a great time to read the story of Echo and Narcissus. So this is Echo, and I will read you about Echo. Echo was a forest nymph, beautiful and kind. Artemis, goddess of the moon, loved her dearly. When Artemis came to the forest to hunt, she called on Echo to join her. Echo, however, had one fault. She loved to talk. She chattered without stopping. It did not bother her one bit that nobody listened to anything she said. Hera, the queen of the gods, came to visit Artemis. And KX pop quiz. Do you remember that Hera wanted the golden apple, and she offered something to Paris? Hera offered something, Athena offered something, and Aphrodite offered something. So if you remember, just whisper it to the screen. Echo kept interrupting the two as they spoke. Artemis warned Echo to be silent, but she paid no attention. She prattled on and on until Hera lost patience. She turned to Echo and said, "You love to talk, and so you shall. You will never begin a conversation. You will only reply when someone else speaks. Since you love to have the last word, I will give it to you. Never again will you speak words of your own. You may only repeat words that someone else has spoken." "Spoken," said Echo. "Someone else has spoken." Now the words of others were all that she could say. Echo left the nymphs and went to live by herself in the corner of the forest where people seldom came. For a long time, she did not speak at all. One day, a young hunter wandered by. Narcissus was his name, and he was extremely handsome. Echo watched him from behind the trees. She desperately wanted to speak to him, but she could not say one word until he spoke to her first. Echo followed the handsome young man through the forest. After a time, Narcissus noticed her. He smiled and called, "Hello, who are you? What is your name?" "What is your name? Your name? Your name," said Echo. "My name is Narcissus," he answered. "I came to the forest to hunt deer. Now it's your turn to tell me your name." "Tell me your name." Name, Echo said. "I've already told you. It's Narcissus. Didn't you hear me?" "Hear me? Me, Echo answered. Narcissus grew angry. "Are you playing a joke? I don't like it when people make fun of me. If you want to talk, answer properly when I speak to you. If not, go away." "Go away, away," Echo said. Poor nymph did not know what to do. How could she explain to Narcissus that she could only repeat the words he said? Echo came from behind the trees. She walked toward Narcissus, holding out her arms. She hoped he would understand that she wanted to be his friend. Narcissus did not understand at all. He thought Echo was laughing at him. "Don't tell me to go away. Go away yourself." He pushed Echo hard. She fell down. Echo began to cry. Tears ran down her cheeks, but not a single sound came from her lips. Narcissus cared not one bit about her tears. "Cry all you want. I don't care. You made fun of me. You've got what you deserved." Ouch, right, KX? He slung his bow and arrows over his shoulder and walked away. Echo tried to make him come back. She called to Narcissus, but the only words she could say were, "Got what you deserved. You deserved. You deserved." Echo, heartbroken, began to fade. Slowly she disappeared until she was no more than a shadow among the forest leaves. Then the shadow disappeared too. Nothing remained of Echo except her voice. Echo's voice still lingers in the mountains and the hills. If you hear a voice repeating your words, you'll know that she is there. We call that voice an echo. So KXers, some animals use echo, they use sound, they call it echolocation, to know where they're going. And you'll see in Seesaw, I put a slide there for you to look at, and maybe you can answer some questions. So the next story, and I forgot to tell you in the beginning that this story of Echo and Narcissus are two myths that I often tell around this time of year because it's springtime, and if we were together at lower school, we would see a bunch of flowers named Narcissus. They belong to the Narcissus family. And whenever I see the flowers, it always reminds me to tell KXers a story of the first Narcissus. And here we go. But what of Narcissus? Artemis was angry with him for his cruelty to Echo. He was not kind, right? She made a spring, sort of like a fountain that comes out of the ground, natural spring of water, appear in the forest where Narcissus would go to hunt. The spring's waters flowed like liquid silver. Its sparkling surface shone like a mirror. Artemis dipped one of her arrows into the spring. She placed her magic in its waters. Whatever the spring reflected, would appear to be 10 times more beautiful than it really was. So here he is again. Narcissus came upon the spring one afternoon. Hunting all day had left him tired and thirsty. He kneeled beside the spring to drink. What was this? He saw a face in the water. It was his own face, but Narcissus did not realize that. It seemed so lovely, so full of life. Narcissus fell in love with his own reflection. Beautiful person, speak to me. Tell me your name. The image on the water moved its lips, but it did not speak. Narcissus tried to kiss it. The image disappeared the moment his lips touched the spring. Narcissus sighed. Although you would not allow me to touch you, you cannot stop me from looking at you. Who is he really looking at, KX? Narcissus sat by the spring day after day, staring at his own beautiful reflection. He did not eat. He did not sleep. He grew weak and pale. His body wasted away. He felt himself dying, but he could not tear himself away from the spring. Alas, he cried to his reflection, if only you could see how much I love you. Saying that, he died. Echo repeated his last words over and over again. How much I love you. How much I love you. The nymphs gathered to bury Narcissus. They could not find him. What had happened? Well, here you go. On the spot where he lay, they saw a flower growing, a yellow flower. A beautiful yellow flower, like a golden trumpet surrounded by yellow petals. The Greeks call this flower the Narcissus, after the poor young man who fell in love with himself. We see it in the gardens every spring. We call it the daffodil. So KX, if you get a chance to go out sometime this week, maybe you can go and notice how many daffodils you find. There's daffodils of different colors, and they all belong to the Narcissus family. Very cool, right? See you soon.